Tour 19, day 2, round 4. We are here. Unfortunately, yeah, looking around at the table, looks like everyone's sort of gearing up. The round is about to start sort of in the next 5 or so minutes. We have a lot of people looking a little bit dusty, looking a little bit worse for wear. Looks like they've definitely had an excellent evening last night. But yeah, Gary's yelling out and about to get the round started. But thank you, Wes, jumping in the chat. Hello, Wes. Thank you this morning. Really glad to have you here. Luke 89. Who is this? I feel like I have a bit of a clue as to who Luke 89 is. Beef Tane. Hello, Beef Tane. How are we? For anyone who I don't know, please tell me who you are, where you're from. Beef Tane, who are you, if you're comfortable with telling me who you are. What's everyone doing? What's for breakfast? What's everyone doing this excellent Sunday other than hanging out with me? Looks like the round's kicking off. Our scenario for this morning is focal points. We have an amazing game, two really good high caliber players. We have Dave Kerr, Dave the Master, Mego Murphy Lord, on the stream against Tyler McDonald, the exalted bloodthirster Tyler McDonald. So jumping in the chat, Beef. I came here from a friend who recommended to watch, plus I love Australian accent from England here. Awesome, man. Yeah, really cool. Well, thanks for jumping on. Really appreciate hanging out. What time is it over there? How's England looking? I would imagine it would be like getting close to night time, I would imagine. But yeah, man. Definitely happy to have you, and yeah, thanks for hanging out. Just hit midnight. Wow. Okay, that's some commitment there. But yeah, we've got Dave Kerr, the back-to-back Australian Master, against Tyler with his Khorne. We'll run through the lists really quickly. Run through the list quickly, and yeah, as soon as the guys are starting to set up, we'll just jump over to the table. So we'll start with Tyler, because his list has a little bit more to it. But Tyler is playing Allegiance Khorne. His slaughter host is the Reapers of Vengeance, which seems to be a fairly popular slaughter host at the moment. Tyler has a Wrath of Khorne Bloodthirster as the general. Obviously needs to take the Mage Eater trait because he is from the Reapers of Vengeance. Extra Dispel 8 has an extra Dispel if the caster casts a natural 8. It's d6 more wounds to that caster. So yes, it can definitely be a little bit nasty if you've got a bunch of magic, but I don't think we'll come into this too much, or potentially we might. We'll find out. We have a Slaughter Priest with Killing Frenzy for the plus 1 to hit, which probably won't be super useful here, but it might be, who knows. The general also has the Skull Shard Mantle, obviously a fantastic item. 2+ ignore spells and endless spells effects, which is fantastic. We've also got a Bloodthirster of Unfettered Fury, a Bloodthirster of Insensate Rage, and we have the Angry Man, Scarbrain himself. So yeah, so that rounds out all of his leaders. Battle line, we've got 3 tens of Blood Reavers with Meat Ripper axes. We've also got 5 Marauder Horsemen, which is cool, with Javelins and Shields, and then 2 tens of Chaos Warhounds. The Bloodthirsters are in the Torrents of Blood Battalion, so basically making use of the Reapers of Vengeance, as well as basically having all those Bloodthirsters just fight. And he also got the Hex Gorgeous Skulls, rounding out at 2,000 points on the dot, with 2, and he's also bought a command point as well, so 2 extra CP as well, so that's pretty cool. In regards to Dave Kerr, he is running Darkling Covens Allegiance in the Mortal Realm of Gur. So his leaders are a Sorceress on Black Dragon, that is his general, equipped with a Witch Rod, and she has the trait Impossibly Swift. So that's neg1 to hit as a trait, matched with the Griffeather Charm, so a further neg1 to hit. So that Sorceress will be neg2 to hit in combat, and obviously benefiting from a +1 to move as well, so that's pretty great. We also have a sorceress with the Anklet of Epiphany. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, but I'm terrible at English, so go figure. So she's got the Anklet. Basically, that's +1 to cast, +1 to unwind when near a terrain feature, I believe. And another one, pretty exciting, pretty exciting to see how this angry little man goes. We've got Gotrek in this list as well. So that is all of Dave's leaders here. So that's going to be pretty great. Let's see how he shapes up to some Bloodthirsters, hey? In Dave's battle line, we've got 30 Executioners, 10 Blackguard, 10 Dark Shards, 10 Dark Shards, 10 Dread Spears. And we've also got Gemma jumping in. I'll shuffle over so that we can actually equally be in the screen. So 30 Executioners, 10 Blackguard, 10 Dark Shards, 10 Dark Shards, and 10 Dread Spears. They are in the Thrall Warhost. So the biggest unit, being the Executioners, as long as they are within 18 inches of the Coven Master, in the hero phase can either, well, in any combination basically, charge, pile in and attack in the hero phase, or they can just pile in and attack, whatever they prefer, I suppose. And for endless spells, we've got the Springy Dinghy, so the Soul Seeker, and we've got some Quicksilver Swords. So there's some endless spells in here which could be quite good. So maybe some Quicksilver Swords, might see it doing some damage. We'll see what happens there. And obviously the Springy Dinghy can potentially shift a big unit Executioners where they need to be, and potentially pile in, charge, pile in and attack
in the hero phase,
and then pile in and attack again
in the combat phase.
So
pretty dangerous combination, actually. I have seen it in action.
Yeah, some secret tech. So
it catches a few people off guard too, because no one usually plays this sort of stuff. So when it comes to I got to move over. Josh is the star.
So yeah, definitely pretty cool.
Good morning, Wes. Thank you.
Yeah, jumping into chat, we've got some bands between Mr. McFadden and Horace, being Wes, just having a bit of a chat on how their mornings are going. What up, girl? I'm not sure if that's directed at me or Gemma, there, Wes, with what up, girl, but that's okay. We'll figure it out. That's rad. Glad Dino and Dave aren't playing this morning. Save that match for the last game. I'm just waiting. If Dave gets up here and Dino gets up in his game, if we had a game 5 for first place between Mixed Destruction and Darkling Covens, I honestly feel like the internet would explode. I feel like everybody's heads who already think the Australian meta is an interesting creature, their heads will explode. That's what's going to happen.
It'll just be like, what's going on here?
Darkling Covens win the 50-man tournament in Australia.
And Mixed Destruction is up in the top 5, so it's just every time in Queensland or Australia there's always something odd happening in our scene. Definitely. It just blows people away.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like, guys, that they're setting up on the table, so we might just jump over to the table. But yeah, guys, we're pretty much ready to roll.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so looking at the screen, we've got a little bit going on here. Just bear with us, guys. So basically, just obviously in the early stages of everyone setting up and getting ready. But it's basically early stages at the moment. Tyler obviously making use of putting his terrain piece as close to Dave's side of the board as possible, because naturally I would imagine that Tyler is aware of that there is some endless spells happening and a bit of magic is going on. So we'll see how things go.
Yeah, so basically Dave has positioned his Dark Shards on the left-hand side, and because they are part of their allegiance is they benefit, if they're next to each other, they benefit from being a large unit, so they will get shooting bonuses.
Yeah, so that's one cool thing about Darkling Covens is that, they're friends, like they look out for each other. They're one big family.
Yeah, and Big Gotrek himself has been placed centre. So he is right in just below the centre objective there. So if you can see a little base there, that is the little man himself going to be walking across and punching some stuff, I suppose.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. How place in your bets. How many skulls and how many bloodthirsters is Gotrek going to kill in this game? Let us know.
That's correct, Luke. The Queensland scene is just the best scene, and that's all there is to it.
Yep.
And Tyler's just going to be dropping a unit of Reapers now, so he looks like he's sort of positioning them off center a little bit next to his terrain piece by the looks.
Yep. So yeah, just all. Yeah. I guess like classic kind of Khorne deployment there. Just happy just to be front and center, getting into the mix. Should be interesting. From a who has the advantage here in this scenario, like Dave Kerr's obviously not an idiot in any way, shape or form, so I feel like Tyler potentially has to be careful with where he puts things, has to be careful sort of what he's thinking and making sure that all his movement is nice and tight, because I feel like if there's anything out of position, if anything's overcommitted, I think Dave Kerr is going to be absolutely jumping on top of that and making the most of those mistakes. So definitely. So he's now dropping his dark shards. So they look like they're going behind the other unit, just on the right-hand side there, near that objective. So I believe Dave, if he drops his whole, like his battalions, he's a 2-drop, but it looks like he's splitting it up a little bit. And the reason for that is Tyler is an 8-drop, so he will be able to drop some of his battalion and leave some out, but still be able to take or choose who takes the first turn as well. Yeah, definitely. Sometimes it is good to sort of make sure you have a choice of if you want to go first or second. Also as well, if you know that you're out-dropping your opponent, sometimes, sort of seeing where they're putting their key pieces, seeing where things are going, can definitely help you as well. I guess like from an interesting perspective as well, if Dave is able to get off his springy dinghy, it probably really, as long as they're in a somewhat safe position, it probably doesn't really matter where he puts his big unit of executioners, but we'll see. Yeah, we'll definitely see.
Yeah, he's obviously probably going to have a target in mind depending on how Tyler deploys as well, because if you can sort of get them across the table and do some damage, especially in the hero phase and then in the combat phase, you're usually going to be deleting some units.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially with the sorceress being neg 2 to hit in combat, that's definitely a pain in the butt that Tyler has to think about and have to deal with as well. So
definitely.
Jumping into chat, big dick swinger Gotrek. Absolutely, Luke. Couldn't agree more. Dave with the singlet going full homeless. Yeah, I was talking with Dave before the game started, and he was sort of commenting on how his body isn't able to keep up with the party that's been happening this weekend. So yeah, sort of said a little bit too much alcohol to what his body is normally used to, and a definite lack of sleep. So yeah, he might be struggling a little bit this morning. So
I think there's probably, looking out over the crowd, there is a few people that look like they are struggling this morning, and there was a few that were struggling yesterday morning as well. So yeah, like we said, it has been a full weekend of just partying for some of these fellas.
Absolutely. I think that's another great thing about the Queensland scene is just the social aspect. I know that it's no different in the UK from listening to some of the UK podcasts, also listening to American podcasts. It definitely seems like the social aspect and hanging out with people after is definitely something that people enjoy doing as well. And you know what? Australians are known for drinking alcohol, having a good time, and being just fully loose, you know? So, living up to the...
and playing weird lists, playing weird armies.
Yes. Well, it's funny, we were talking before we went live just in regards to how much the internet's brain is going to explode if we have Darkling Covens and Mixed Destruction on table 1 for first place. So
yeah, where's the Slanesh? And where's the Feck? And where's the Skaven?
No, we'll see. Well, there could be some potential escape in here. So I think on table 2 we've got Corey Papanimi, which he was nice enough to help me pronounce when we had our impromptu interviews yesterday. So it was Papanimi.
Papanimi.
That's how you pronounce it.
That's how you pronounce it.
Yeah, so he helped me break that one down. So
I wonder where that name originates from.
I'm going to say Jupiter. So
Jupiter. That sounds about right.
Absolutely. So yeah, on table 2 we've got Skaven versus Mixed Destruction, and then from there I'll have to jump back on Down Under Pairings to have a look at where we're looking. If anyone is interested in where different armies and different players are situated, if you jump onto downunderpairings.com, look up the Toowoomba Open. You can have a bit of a look as to where people are, where people are positioned, kill points, how they're going just in general. So if you've got some friends or some people that you know that you want to keep an eye on them, yeah, Down Under Pairings, great app. Definitely a good resource for anyone running tournaments, for sure.
I'm not sure whether he's asked anyone to call him Big Puppy. Not yet, but we can definitely start that ball rolling.
Yeah, we've got the resources, Luke. We'll see if we can get that happening.
All right, so at the moment, Dave, since he has looked like he's dropped his unit of executioners sort of down, sort of in the right-hand side next to the dragon. And basically you can tell that he's left a gap there. So with that gap, he's basically looks like he's going to be putting the dinghy. Springy dinghy there.
Or the Soul Seeker.
The Soul Seeker.
How you want to pronounce it.
Yeah. So mind my drawing, it's a little bit skew but yeah, so those executions there, you can definitely see that there's room for something sneaky to be popping into the back line there.
Absolutely. So potentially showing a card as to some potential future strats or what's going to be happening, but yeah, I think that's. I think we all know what's going on here. So
yeah, definitely. And he's finished dropping. He's dropped all of his army. Dave has. So now it's just up to Tyler. He does look like he's creating a massive. He's playing defensively by the looks. He has created a massive line across the table there. So I imagine his Bloodthirst is going to be sitting behind there somewhere.
I think that's
trying to get some protection. Probably not wanting to be executioned in the face.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's interesting as well because Dave obviously knows that he has the ability to dictate who takes first turn. So I'll be interested to see. I feel like Dave's probably going to give Tyler the first turn because his Bloodthirsters are going to be in a position where they're probably not going to be able to do a whole lot, sort of hiding behind all that chaff, and they're probably not going to be in a great position. Also, stuff coming forward closer to Dave could be exactly what he wants as well. Yeah, and that the Sorceress and the Executioners and some match with some shooting, I would imagine that they could probably soften some stuff up and clear off some chaff to get on those objectives as well. So
yeah, definitely. I think he's just basically, if he gives Tyler the first turn, he's going to be looking for an opening. So it's just going to be how Tyler moves across the table, whether he's going to be keeping those chaff lines in front, just moving everything up, or whether he creates a gap and that's just going to be enough that those executioners can come in, take something off the table, and make Tyler's job quite hard.
Absolutely. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. Definitely interesting as to where things are going to be positioned. Looking at the terrain as well, obviously we've got that piece of Mystical next to the Blood Throne there, so whether that comes into play or not could be handy, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, definitely. So one thing Dave's going to have to remember as well is how this Khorne list works. So basically, as Josh has already explained, it's the Reapers of Vengeance, so they can double pile as well. So again, he looks like he's just playing aggressively, Dave. He looks like he's deployed quite aggressively. He hasn't got anything sort of protecting anything.
I don't think Dave's really... I think Dave's just sort of positioned himself to be nice and flexible, to be honest. So we've got the handshake. We're about to kick off. If anyone missed that, there was a Kit Kat Chunky in the centre of the board using as a bit of a divider. So I don't know. Maybe they're using that to a bit of collateral to play for. Who knows? Because let's be real, Kit Kat Chunkies are delicious.
Yeah, they might need to have a break at some stage and
have a break
and snap that bad boy in half and share it around. So Josh was right in guessing that Tyler would get the first turn because Dave obviously has given it away. So let's just see what happens here. He looks like he's trying to put a prayer down.
Skulls, yeah. But I don't think, to be honest, Dave's really going to mind that that's there because everything's really, realistically, probably just going to be moving up and sort of getting into his grill anyway to get that centre objective that's worth 2 points. So, yeah, Tyler trying to block everything out a little bit here. So, good move there. As we've seen all weekend, lots of people using endless spells to potentially block off positions, keeping people away. So, yeah, good move there from Tyler.
Yeah, definitely. We have seen, this is probably the third game I've seen that being used. No worries. He's also got the prayer from one of the Bloodthirsters, Killing Frenzy, so he'll be +1 to hit.
Very nice, very nice.
So yeah, it's pretty interesting. If he's done that, I'm just wondering if what his plan is with that Bloodthirster, whether he's just getting him ready in case he gets double turned, so it sticks around, or whether he's planning on being aggressive and getting it out there. But he just got to remember how his Bloodthirsters work together.
Absolutely. Yeah, as always, guys, let us know in the chat if there's anything that's a little bit funny, or if there's any, like, our levels are bad, or if we just need to turn our volume up a little bit, different things like that. Feel free to get in touch and let us know what's going on there. Jumping into chat, where's they'll eat it together, sharing a big, thick chocolate bar. Absolutely. Nothing better than sharing something big, thick, and chocolatey with your friends. I know there's never a bad time there. Absolutely.
No.
Who else is in our chat? What's going on? Let us know what you're doing this morning. Let us know who you're thinking could be the victor in this battle. Do the Khorne just have too much power for the Darkling Covens, or do the Sneaky Elves have some moves that the Khorne haven't seen coming? So let us know your thoughts in the chat. But yeah, I don't know, it's interesting. I think it's like a similar case to Dino versus Josh yesterday.
Yeah.
Potentially a slightly, in air quotes, slightly less powerful army, but a fantastic pilot.
That's
versus
right.
a book.
It's got some tricks.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, Tyler's a fantastic player, always hovering around the top tables and everything. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see if he can pick it off. So at the moment, so he's center Reavers on the center objective here. Let's see if I can get my artwork a little bit better. So these guys here have managed, they have ran down. They only rolled a 1, but that was obviously enough for them to get to that objective. The ones to the side here that were up in that corner, they rolled a 6 for their run, so that was actually beneficial because they obviously needed to roll a little bit higher to be able to get there. So it looks like he's still trying to keep his chaff line there to protect his thirsters and sort of play a... It's almost like a predatory game. He's just waiting for the right time to get those big boys out there and pounce.
Absolutely, yeah. It's definitely it's like waiting basically. So if Dave is to sort of get into a position, clear off all that chaff, then he's basically got 4 bloodthirsters that are waiting there, ready to pounce. So it's definitely like, yes, you need to kill off that chaff, but you also don't want to create too many gaps and open everything up for those bloodthirsters to sort of get in as well. So
that's right. But the one thing that could surprise Tyler here is those executioners if he does use the springy dinghy.
Springy dinghy, yeah.
To get over there, he only has to be 9 inches away, so it is possible that he could probably come in from the back edge.
Well, he's got 2 cracks at it, basically, because if he's to move it in the hero phase, teleport them over, then he's still got his move phase and still has everything else to happen. If he double turns as well, so there could be potentially like 4 combats worth of executioners executing before Tyler really has a chance to have a turn. So, yeah, interesting things to think about there.
Yeah, definitely. So we have now just heard that Dave is super confident that he's going to double turn Tyler, so we'll see if that happens. Ooh. He does get some lucky rolls with those dice, so sometimes he gets what he needs.
Yeah, I've affectionately called Dave Kerr the Mortark of dice because he seems to be able to definitely roll some amazing dice rolls when he needs them. So,
just not Manny, just not the Manny Manfred, just not the Manfred Mortark.
No, not Manfred the Mortark, but it's Dave Kerr the Mortark of rolling 6s.
Yeah, so. Yeah. Just if we can avoid involving Manny anywhere, because that usually is a losing streak. Ask Clint.
I didn't even say Manfred.
He's around here somewhere.
Yeah, Clint's up the back. I think Cliff is not hanging out with us just yet. I think Cliff is still putting together squigs and putting terrain together for CanCon. So I haven't seen the Abyssal Terror this morning yet.
No, it sounds like he's stuck in the dungeon, slaving away.
Yeah, the Heralds of War dungeon.
The terrain dungeon.
Absolutely.
All right, so it looks like Tyler's just measuring out whether or not he's going to try and do some shooting or charges. I'm not really sure. The charges obviously but too far away.
Yeah, I find it a little bit interesting in the top left-hand corner of screen how he's put his dogs there. I'm not sure if maybe potentially putting them more in a defensive position, sort of a nice big circle or something around that objective could potentially give them a bit more protection and protect that objective more, or whether that's intentional or not, but yeah, we'll find out.
Yeah, so we've just gone over to Dave's turn, and he's tried to cast Quicksilver Swords, and that roll there was Tyler dispelling it.
Okay.
So he was unable to get Quicksilver Swords off.
Yep.
So I imagine Dave has gone up to 2 CP.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, obviously with Tyler's General having the Mage Eater trait, he can dispel 2 spells in his turn, so...
Rightio. So as we were just predicting with Dave's dice rolls, so that sorceress has a natural. He's got an artifact, so +1 to cast. Then they sacrifice a guy from a unit and gets another one, so +2. So has managed to cast the Springy Dingy, and on a 13.
Oh.
So that bad boy is definitely coming onto the table.
Wow, very
so
nice.
Let's see if we are correct in... Oh, look, we are, in saying that it has that nice little gap there in with the Executioners, and it fits perfectly in there. Snug as a bug.
Look at that. Bear with us, guys.
Just going to change the CP down for Dave there, so it won't take long, and we'll have that up for you. So he looks like he is trying to measure. So I wonder if this is to... just put that unit somewhere, or whether he is just deciding. Oh, it does look so he's doing the 9-inch, so they have to remain 9 inches away. So he looks like he's going to try and plow straight into the chaff and get amongst it. So I wonder if Dave can get that 9-inch charge off.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to see. I'm thinking obviously if he's putting him in that position, I think he's going to want to, so...
Yeah, definitely. Because we all know they sort of pack a punch. It wasn't that long ago I played this. It wasn't exactly the same as this list because it didn't have Gotrek in it, but I did play Dave at a recent Warhammer event, and I did learn how quickly those executions can kill units because I was playing Feck, and I said goodbye to 2 Terrorgeists over 1 turn.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm okay with that. So.
Such a nice person, Josh.
It's flesh-eater chords. How can you... I think I've got justification here.
Yeah,
so.
they've had time to shine, and now it's time to move on to something else, I think.
Yeah, definitely a great army.
So
Definitely a brutal army.
Gotrek has been moved up. He has moved up to the centre of the table. He is waving his big dick around, threatening that centre objective. The Sorceress on Dragon has also moved up. So it looks like there could be multi-charging happening into those chaff units, protecting those Bloodthirsters. So if he can penetrate those and get amongst it and double turn, those Bloodthirsters are going to be in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, definitely. I could imagine that Gotrek would be pointing at the biggest Bloodthirster, potentially Scarbrand, and just saying, "You and me, right in the middle now." So I can imagine, yeah, Gotrek will be pointing his finger, just saying, "Come at me, bro." So
definitely. I don't know whether those Bloodthirsters could be able to see something so tiny from so far away. He'd probably look like he's camouflaged with a rock or something.
He's got a big mohawk though, so...
Hey, you might be able to see, they might be just see the little orange mohawk just poking up behind a rock somewhere.
Just floating in the wind or something like that, potentially, so...
Oh, dear.
So it looks like the Sorceress is coming up, making some moves, obviously wanting to clear off a bit of that chaff as well, so yeah, we'll see how that is looking. Jumping into chat, like the Fox and the Hound, obviously that was prior to the game starting. So yeah, like I think Wes meaning that feels like Dave could be the Fox and Mr. Tyler could be the Hound. Dave likes a bit of penetration. Look, allegedly, I can't confirm or deny that. Well, who else have we got?
LLV!
Nice,
good
welcome.
Morning or evening, probably
yeah,
for
you.
you.
I think it's very late, I think. So, LLV, welcome back. Dave Kurt is playing Darkling Covens, so yeah, and he is 3-0. So, not surprising, but yeah, definitely.
We just like to mix it up over here in Oz.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
LLV, we were just saying earlier in the chat, earlier on the stream, sorry, that we're hoping for... I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but we would love to see Mixed Destruction and Darkling Covens on table 1 for going for first. But we'll see what happens. So we can blow up the internet's mind with that being the top armies in the at the finals here. But yeah, we're jumping back in. Looks like we've got some shooting happening. Obviously, we've got 2 units of 10 dark shards, so they're the crossbowmen, for anyone who's wondering. I don't think that they're terrible at shooting, but obviously they get all the buffs from having all their coven units near each other as well. So
yeah, so you're right. We are in the shooting phase. Those dark shards are shooting at some of the marauders up there, so we'll have to see whether that unit survives or how many gets taken away from that shooting.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got 3 10-man units of Blood Reavers there, so I would imagine that if he's smart and sort of gets lucky with some kills, yeah, they could potentially be suffering from some battle shock there, because we don't have a Blood Secretor, and that obviously his war scroll changed with the new book, so there's no immune to battle shock anymore, which I'm definitely not upset about, because that was the most frustrating thing. You would kill so much stuff and it would just never run away, never be affected by anything, so definitely pretty frustrating there.
So 5 marauders lost their lives in that shooting phase.
Yeah, poor. Yeah, I guess they're like crazy cannibals, so Blood Reavers is probably better. The world's probably a better place with having 5 less Blood Reavers in the world. So. And
the last unit of 10 shot and just finished off the unit, so there's no longer a unit there at all.
There you go. So it makes sense. So looking at how everything's going, I would imagine that Dave Kerr's pretty much going to be trying to get in combat with. Potentially get into combat with the Bloodthirster on the end, which looks like the Unfettered Fury, I think it is, and potentially pinning that in because, yeah, it might strike first, but he's -2 to hit, and also putting the big line of Bloodthirsters, he's only ever going to be able to activate 1 because everything's stuck behind chaff, as we were sort of talking about before. So, made the charge. We're in, baby. We're in.
That 8-inch charge from Gotrek, so he has definitely got in. And it looks like the Sorceress on Dragon is in there as well. So, party time for them. Not sure about the Khorne.
Absolutely, yeah. We'll see what happens. LOV jumping back into the chat, always messing with the stats. Absolutely, Australia is definitely not sorry at all, unfortunately. Rageous Sigma Joe, good evening everybody. Hello, Mr. Joe, welcome back. Thanks for popping in. We've also got Luke saying Dino playing Mr. Destruction is on 3-0 also, which he is, that's correct. Horace, getting excited about Gotrek jumping in and getting stuck in to the boys.
Instead of Gotrek, get wrecked.
Get
wrecked. So let's see if Gotrek can wreck on this table.
I feel like he's got the moves.
I feel, just judging from the past couple of games that we've seen him, especially taking down a unit of 9 Storm Fiends, which was pretty impressive.
Absolutely.
So we'll see if he can do, if he can keep his reputation and destroy some units on this table as well. So
absolutely.
It looks like Dave has also moved the Executioners up.
Yeah,
and made a charge as well.
Absolutely. So looking at the table here, there's potentially a mistake in positioning from Tyler. Looking at his Blood Throne, looking at where the terrain is, he's probably going to be struggling to get in all his Bloodthirsters in a good position for all of them to make use of all their attacks, and using obviously from the Tyrants of Blood. So I think Dave's spotted, as we mentioned at the start of the game.
He looks funneled. He's funneled.
He's quite funneled. He's sort of choked up a little bit just with the terrain on the board. So as we discussed earlier, I think Dave's recognised that and obviously showing his hand and making a bit of a move right now. So pretty cool to see. I'm pretty keen to see what survives after this round of combat as well. Absolutely.
And the Executioners are now swinging into that unit.
Oh, and that's a lot of models gone already. So.
And that's a lot of...
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
He did 14 mortal wounds with 10 dudes.
Wow.
So that did delete that front unit there. As we can see, Tyler has just taken them off the table.
Absolutely. Very smart play there. As we mentioned, those hounds are basically just keeping those Bloodthirsters far enough away that they're not really going to be too much of a worry at the moment. But we'll see how things go as well. If Dave's really smart how he plays this as well, a unit needs to finish 1 inch, within half an inch, obviously, to complete a charge. So realistically, he's probably only going to be able to fit 1 Bloodthirster over the top of to jump over that line, and he might sort of just squeeze it in next to those Executioners, sort of in this area here. So yeah, definitely some really smart positioning here, and definitely making the most of the terrain and sort of breaking up those bloodthirsters. So smart move there.
Yeah, definitely. So Gotrek is being attacked by that other unit of Reavers in the centre there. They have ignored the dragon simply because she is -2 to hit.
Yep.
And Gotrek did take a wound from those Reavers.
Oh, wow.
So those little Reavers have decided just a sneaky stab in his side there, and he has taken one.
Yeah, potentially sad that all their friends were just mowed down by executioners living up to their names.
They've just entered this blood rage.
Absolutely.
And frenzied.
So looking around at the rest of the event, we've definitely got some interesting matchups here. We've got Khorne versus Death. We've got a Slaanesh on Slaanesh, so I don't even know if that would be a good time or a bad time for the Slaanesh. We've also got Daughters of Cain versus Skaven. As we mentioned, Mixed Destruction versus Skaven in front of us. We've also got Lizardmen versus Khorne. We've got lots of different matches happening on at the moment. Some Stormcast versus Seraphon, Khorne and Gloomspite Gitz. We've got like a good mix. Lots of different armies, lots of cool matchups as well.
Yeah, so Gotrek swung back and did 14 damage to that unit of Reavers, so that's why Tyler just took them off the table as well, because they succumbed to Gotrek's maniac swinging.
Absolutely. Jumping into chat, Wes, he's the coolest early 2000 kid on Dance Dance Revolution Machine with his baggy jeans and FUBU shirt. Can't say I ever partake in the FUBU craze, but definitely not upset that I missed that wave. But that's okay. DDR was definitely something that I thought was cool, but never had any hand-eye coordination, so it wasn't the game for me, unfortunately. So.
And where I lived didn't have anything like that, so I wouldn't have even known that existed. So it looks like Dave is doing, like Gotrek, if he is within 3 inches of another unit, he can actually pile in and attack again. So that's the other bad news, if it wasn't mentioned already, is being funneled in the centre there. It's quite a big advantage for Gotrek because of that rule. So
Absolutely.
He's now been able to pile in again, and he's able to either swing at, there's a unit of, I think there might be a unit of Warhounds there.
Yeah, it looks like hounds, yeah.
So he's either attacking them. I don't think he could get close enough to a Bloodthirster.
But in saying that though, if Dave gets his double turn, there could be a lot of dead stuff happening there. So yeah, if Dave gets his double turn, this could be left, right, good night, fairly quick potentially, guys. So yeah, really, really interesting. But yeah, looking at the chat, Wes again, Dave was the Queensland Master of DDR. That's actually pretty impressive. I've seen some pretty crazy YouTube videos going on with all that happening, and DDR is no joke. No joke at all.
All right, so Gotrek, as we sort of predicted with his maniac swinging, has has taken off that unit of Warhounds. And just some information from some of the other tables around the place. We have got Gloomspite versus the Trolls, the People's Champion of Toowoomba Open, playing a troll army down the back there.
Fantastic.
So what has happened is the Troll boss has been hand of gawked across the table into Scragrot. So we have got a Troll boss versus Mr. SEG himself, Mr. Scraggy, and we'll see who can actually survive there.
Got a battle of epic proportions, that's for sure. So.
Who can stank it out the longest?
So yeah, I think this priority roll is going to be fairly large, I think. So if Covens can get it, that's going to be pretty big, I reckon. So
well, he's opened up. So if he basically, because of that funneling that we were talking about before, Josh, if he does win a priority here, it's going to be very dangerous. It looks like the priority roll. And we'll have to see who. It looks like and Dave's on 4 points, and Tyler's left the skulls there. They've managed to stay, and we are just seeing where priority lands. So it looks like there's some heavy thinking going on here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think there's some. I don't think Tyler really wants to give away the turn, but at the same time, if Tyler's moving, yeah, it's an interesting one, to be honest. Hey, so
it is interesting. I think it. Look, if he does win the priority, it's almost forcing him to take the turn, because at the moment he really needs those bloodthirsters to do some work and try and take advantage
Absolutely. So
of their synergies. But unfortunately, Dave must have won the priority, and he's taking the double turn.
oh,
So he was right in saying, I was confident at taking this double turn. I'm going to get it. And like we said before, he has got some magic with those dice that he has managed to get that double turn.
Absolutely. So as we mentioned, guys, Dave has an impeccable ability to roll what he needs to when he needs it. So yeah, wow. Okay, that's huge.
All right, so what has happened here is Tyler has spent his blood tithe.
Oh,
and moved that bloodthirster. So actually, that's quite a good tactical thing. So when Gotrek moved into his second round of combat previous turn, he managed to just tag that bloodthirster within half an inch.
Okay.
Oh, 2.5 inches away, sort of thing.
Yep.
So Tyler has noticed that he's in danger there and doesn't want him to be. So he has spent his blood tithe points and moved him away.
Yep.
So we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, guys, so at the moment, a bit of a, I don't know if that's a good move or a smart move, potentially moving that Bloodthirster away. Obviously, Gotrek having some action here and potentially, well and truly being able to kill 2 Bloodthirsters. Sending one away by itself, I don't know. Well, I guess we'll see. I can understand why he moved it away, but whether he wants, whether that's a good move or not, I'm not sure yet, but we'll see. I think 30 Executioners can definitely take down a Bloodthirster as well. And obviously Dave is making the most of his battalion to throw a Warhurst. So charging, piling and attacking, so he could have 1 dead Bloodthirster before the turn even starts. So yeah, this is pretty big, guys. Definitely really, really big here. So we'll see how things are progressing here. See if he can take one down. Obviously, we've got that neg 2 to hit Sorceress on Black Dragon as well. This should be an interesting turn, guys. Jumping into chat, no Luke, he kept it, but Tyler spent some blood tithe in his turn in Dave's hero phase. Horus, Dave got the double. That's right, just confirming that information there. It could be this could be interesting, guys. This could be a really, really interesting turn for sure. Because realistically, we've got, from what I can see, all the Blood Reavers are dead. So that's 3 blood tithe. We've got 2 units of Warhounds, 1 unit of Warhounds dead. So that would be 4 blood tithe at the moment. So obviously, I'm not sure off the top of my head how many points it is to move in the hero phase. But yeah, we'll definitely see how that transpires. Spending all that blood tithe. So whether that was worth it or not, I'm not really sure. But we'll see how things go. But yeah, interested to see how this hero phase attack and pile-in happen and how it all goes. So yeah, jumping back into chat, obviously Luke's getting back up to speed, and yeah, big turn for Dave. Absolutely agree. This is massive. This is exactly what Dave needed.
It is exactly what he needed. So basically, he's failed most of his magic.
Yep.
Unfortunately, but he was still able to get those executioners in and try and I think he ended up tagging all 3 of those Bloodthirsters.
He definitely has the ability to, for sure.
Yeah, so just coming from the table boss information, it looks like he's tagged all 3. So they will be attacking, and this is where some hurt is going to be had for those Bloodthirsters.
Absolutely. Jumping back into chat, I guess if he didn't, he would have 3 Thirsters instead of 2. Yeah, absolutely. So... Tyler having 4 Bloodthirsters, that's not a great time and definitely not a great prospect if you're looking down the barrel of that. But yeah, guys, Executioners looks like they're starting to throw down, and we'll see how they go.
All right, so one of the Bloodthirsters there is taken 8 mortal wounds at the moment.
So far, wow.
So a bit of hurt.
There you go. So that's not a bad start. It's only the hero phase, guys, remember? So we've still got a shooting phase, and we've obviously still got everything else to still happen as well. So,
and that Bloodthirster is down.
Oh, so one down?
So it's an unfettered fury bloodthirster, and he unfortunately has succumbed to his wounds and is no longer part of the battle.
Boom.
So it looks like Dave has got a couple of other executioners going into the left side bloodthirster.
Oh, it's going in. I don't know about you. I'm calling it now. I reckon there's going to be no bloodthirsters at the end of this turn. Could be wrong. But I think, it's far out. It's such a big turn. Classic Dave Kerr maneuver though, being able to sort of get exactly what he needs when he needs it, so which is always funny.
So a couple of other bits of information from the tables around the place. So Marathi has basically first turn charged into a unit of 9 Storm Fiends, killing 6.
Holy!
Yeah.
So obviously making the use of Mind Razor there, and that's huge.
That's huge. So that is, I have to say, in that list, the 9 Storm Fiends were a massive, massive hammer in that list, and unfortunately he's only got 3 left. So it'll be interesting to see how he pulls it back, because Marathi is just one of those bitches that can do whatever she wants on the table.
Absolutely. Yeah, from what I can see as well, that is Paris, or Josh/Paris, who we had on the stream yesterday playing the Skaven, up against Daughters of Cain, which looks like a very fleshed out slaughter troop. So yeah, it's definitely not very nice. 30 witches, 2 units of 30 witches, unit of 30 Sisters of Slaughter, and obviously Marathi in there as well. So yeah, definitely I've played that list personally against Nick, and it's not a kind list at all.
No, definitely not. Actually, Daughters of Cain, even though they've been out for a while now, we've had a few releases, they're still up there with being quite a good army.
Absolutely.
If you can utilise them, they're pretty brutal still. So.
Could not agree more, absolutely.
So the dragon has popped around the backside. So a few options there, whether that dragon wants to go into the bloodthirsters that the executioners are with, or whether the back one, or who knows.
Yeah, well, he's got some options there. So he's got the potential of 2 bloodthirsters to choose from. That's pretty much what he's looking at the moment. We've also got, he's got some options. Obviously, that big blob of executioners. It looks like it's tagging 2 bloodthirsters as well, Scarbrand and a bloodthirster. So they're all tied up at the moment as well. Obviously, we've got the Marauder Horsemen, who are obviously lending in support to holding that objective as well. And naturally, Dave at the moment is, sort of occupying this space of the board to keep in that objective as well. So, some good positioning there by our players.
Yeah, so basically the Dark Shards have shot the one of the bloodthirsters, the one on the, if you're looking at it from our point of view, the left-hand side one. And it's only got 6 wounds left.
Oh, jeez. So potentially, wow, that's unreal.
Yeah.
Like, it seems classic Dave Kerr. Everything's going his way.
Definitely.
Rolling what he needs to. Yeah, that's terrifying.
That is terrifying. So it looks like he's just done a charge roll for the Sorceress on Black Dragon, and it looks like she has gone into the unit there next to the throne.
So obviously Executioner's here, trying to chip off some damage, where the Scarbrand hits back and retaliates and makes everything explode. I guess we'll have to see. Scarbrand has some fairly big damage potential there, so yeah, we'll see how things go.
All right, and because Dave was a few points under, he's using his Triumph, so he's actually, he got inspired. So he will be using it on that unit of Executioners so they do not run away.
Oh, wow. Okay.
This turn, so which is a smart move because he's in combat with 2 Bloodthirsters. So unless he can punch out a lot of damage first, those Bloodthirsters could potentially do a lot of damage back to those guys.
Absolutely.
So making them inspired is a good tactical move there.
Definitely not a bad idea at all, so...
Yep.
Alrighty, but just a little bit about the event, guys, as well. Toowoomba Open is in, obviously, Toowoomba. We're in it's basically the main capital, or like a big hub, if you will, about an hour and a half west of Brisbane.
pretty much, just like a big country town is probably a great way to describe Toowoomba. We're on top of a big hill, so we are looking down upon everyone because it is a beautiful place to live. We're currently having our tournament in a big sort of like church hall. We've got lots and lots of space. Obviously, allowance for 50 players, so heaps of space for all their players. We've got access to everything sort of in close vicinity, and we've got a nice little stage that we're sitting on up here. If you have a look at the Toowoomba Open page, event page, you'll be able to see some updates from Gary, one of the TOs, as to having a look at everything. Also later on the Failed Charge page, we're putting up pictures of the armies that are attending. So give us a like on Facebook and just on the socials as well. Looks like there's some combat has arisen, and looks like Tyler's pretty happy about some sort of outcome there, or potentially a bit upset. Let's find out.
Yeah, so basically what has happened is the Execution has attacked Scarbrand, and he needed to make 13 saves.
Yep.
And I think he rolled Dave's dice, and he must have he's either saved a lot, and he's just gone, you better check his dice, as a joke. So.
Very good, very
and,
good.
And Scarbrand has got 5 wounds left remaining, so which is good and bad. It's enough, but it's also obviously the more hurt he gets, the angrier he gets as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So he might punch back and take out a few of those executions, which would be good for him.
Yeah, for sure. Let us know, chat, who you are, where you're from, what's going on in your world. Are you still in bed? Are you hungover? Are you mowing the lawn? Are you doing some amazing tasks? Let us know what's happening on your end of the world. We'd love to know who is watching and what you guys are doing. Definitely combat continues. I think Dave's in a pretty good spot, to be honest, so we'll see how things transpire.
Yeah, that double turn definitely helped him out a lot. And positioning, and unfortunately, as we've previously discussed, the way that Tyler moved up in that centre there and just was funneled really was a disadvantage to him.
Absolutely.
Yes. So we'll have to find out what's...
Looking at the time as well,
we've got about half an hour left in the round, so far out. That's about 40 minutes left in the round. So this game has gone extremely quick, to be honest. So
yeah, it has. And the other Bloodthirster was just attacked by the Executioners, so the one sort of closest to that Sorceress on Black Dragon, and only has 1 wound remaining.
Very nice.
Yeah,
wow, 1 remaining.
Yeah.
Wow,
so,
crazy.
Yeah, those Executioners do pack a punch.
Yeah, they can provide a lot of hurt. So, jumping into chat, Horus is building Blood Bowl in his jocks.
At me. Let's get some photos, Wes. I'm keen.
Predatory Neckbeard.
Morning, guys.
How you going, Tim?
Just cooked up Storm for Brekkie and started painting an Imperial Knight. Very nice. Can we get an update on my boy Adam Huey?
Adam Huey is currently playing against Matt Gammy and his Bone Splitters. Can't really see a huge amount from where we are on the table at the moment, but obviously
definitely some interesting stuff going on with...
We'll try and get an update for you. I've got a gentleman coming over to help us out. So the priest did try and attack that dragon, the Khorne priest, and did 0 wounds to it.
Oh no. Jumping back in the chat, Jay Damned. Hey man, what's happening? What are you up to? Rage of Sigma Joe, New York City, 30. I enjoy hardcore punk. Riding bikes and being a union member. Have a shitty podcast. Wife is perpetually mad at me. Hey, that's sometimes that's a part of it. Gemma's in a constant state of rage with Michael or Mick, so I think there's some empathy there. Gammy's a pushover. That's not very nice, Wes, but we'll pass on that information for you as well. But yeah, guys, jumping back into the game, there's a lot happening. There's definitely a lot happening.
There is a lot happening. So the Sorceress on Black Dragon has decided to pile into that Thirster that's only got 1 wound left, and Dave has spent a CP to re-roll ones.
Oh,
and
nice.
As we sort of expected, that Bloodthirster with only 1 wound remaining has succumbed. It is gone.
It's been slain.
It is dead.
Very good. Jay Damned, jumping back into the chat. Jay Damned, currently hanging out on my couch, watching Gal stream, painting my play marines all last night, and taking a break. Yeah, fair enough, man. You gotta
Get that posture check, make sure that you're not smashing things out and pushing yourself too hard.
But yeah, sounds good, man. Hope you're enjoying the stream. Hope everyone's enjoying the stream, to be honest. So it's been definitely a great game to start off the day in, and it's been good so far. So any updates for us, Gemma?
Yeah, so Mr. Tim, Predatory Neckbeard himself. So basically, Adam is playing Matt Gammy.
Yep, most beautiful man in Warhammer.
Yeah, so he's got to be careful he doesn't get ensnared by Matt Gammy's eyes, because they're just that gorgeous. So
the Slaanesh Locust.
So what has happened is he was able to shoot so I'm getting another update, sorry. So basically Adam was able to teleport the shard across the table and kill the Savage Big Boss.
Oh, wow.
So then Matt Gammy is now moving across the table. It does look like he is killing a lot of Adam's stuff at the moment, but he has run into the Phoenix Guard, so he's probably going to be held up a while trying to get through those fellas.
Absolutely, yeah. So yeah, we'll see how things go. As always, if you wanted to have a look at Down Under pairings at the end of the round to sort of see how that round finished off, by all means, Mr. Predatory Neckbeard. Damn, Gemma's got pipes, a bit musical, or have his eyes poked out of his nipples. Don't know. We'll not really sure, but we'll find out. Predatory Neckbeard, good to see that the shard punching in. Cheers, guys. No worries at all, man.
No worries.
That shard and the Sword of Judgment is definitely a sweet little combo. How many Gotreks are at the event with Raging Mod Joe?
I know of 1, 2, I think there's like
2, possibly 3.
Yeah, there's not a huge amount,
No.
but there definitely is at least 2 that we know of at the moment. So yeah.
At least 2, yeah.
It's been kicking ass and taking names, that's for sure. So.
Yeah, little man can do some work.
Absolutely. Wow, so looking at the table, looks like those executioners got executed because I don't see any on the board anymore. So
No, they don't. Yeah, so that was the table update that I, sorry guys, got interrupted with before when I was trying to tell my story of Adam and Gammy. So they were taken off the table, and now it is Tyler's turn. So he's got a lot of decisions to try and make with the only 2 Bloodthirsters remaining. And that's Black Sorceress is going to be causing a few dramas, being neg 2 to hit.
Yeah, definitely.
So, and she does pack a punch herself.
very good, very good. Yeah, it's definitely interesting. Definitely interesting for Dave because at the moment that Sorceress is going to be an absolute pain to try and get rid of. Obviously, he would be still controlling the center objective from what I understand as well. Looking at what's on the table there, I believe. We might just need to get a little update on points just to make sure that we're correct that it's another 4. But yeah, looking at that, Tyler's definitely got some hard decisions to make, that's for sure. So we'll see how we go and see how things progress. Because I don't really know what the right decision there is, to be honest. So
yeah, so Dave did indeed score another 4 points.
excellent.
Just looking. So, yeah, Tyler does have a few decisions to make with that Bloodthirster. Obviously, he's moved it towards that dragon. It almost would have been plausible to bring that Bloodthirster down the table into those dark shards, just to try and get that objective as well, because
Create
if he
some
does...
pressure.
Yeah, create some pressure, and if he does have those 2 objectives, he does get more points. I believe you get 3 points if you control the opposites.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, and you could almost try... I know that the Sorceress on Black Dragon can move quite swiftly, but you'd almost... It's only 1 model.
Yep.
So you could almost try and ignore her as much as possible.
Yep.
Or maybe just feed her a unit just to keep her there and go after the guys on the back objectives, because they're not exactly... especially the Dark Shards, they're not going to be able to...
Yeah, they're not the most resilient.
No, they're not
troops
resilient, so they're not going to be able to take a combat from the Bloodthirster extremely well. You're also eliminating shooting and getting 3 points.
Yeah, absolutely. So looking at that there, as we thought, Tyler's moving up Scarbrand in that area. Definitely agree with you there, Gemma. I think that, like in my opinion, keeping just that Sorcerer tied up, keeping it in combat, yes, you're feeding it units, but you're also getting blood tied as well. So it's one of those things where it's not
a terrible thing in order for you to do that. Tyler obviously moving up the Warhounds to try and cap that upper objective as well. Potentially like a sneaky charge there could snag him that objective as well. So that could be a big scoring turn for Tyler here. He could be scoring, if Scarborough gets in, wipes out that unit, those dogs get in and outnumber there. That could be 6, 7, 8. That could be 8 points this turn. So.
It could be, yeah. So that is interesting that he went on that side of that piece of terrain there as well. I think if he might have went on the other side of the charge. If he is looking to charge to try and cap that objective, it might have been a shorter distance for him. So tell us what your opinion is on that.
I think it's not a bad move because realistically he's going to be moving in on the backside of that objective. So if he does make that charge, when you think about it, like from where that terrain piece is to the unit, it's not a huge distance. Like
what do you reckon, about 7 or 6?
Yeah, probably something like that. So if he can get that in, plus gets the rest of the dogs around, there's not a huge amount sort of on that back edge. And remember, Tyler can always get the double turn here as well, so that could be really, really big.
That could be really dangerous for Dave, especially now that those big unit of executioners has gone. Those other fellas aren't exactly resilient, as we've already discussed,
Absolutely. So jumping into chat, Queensland Thunder, which slaughter host did Tyler run? He's running the Reapers of Vengeance, so definitely makes a lot of sense in that regards. But yeah, definitely interesting there. Tyler should be up to 4 CP as well now, guys, so we'll update that. But yeah, Reapers is definitely seems to be the popular choice in regards to running Bloodthirster heavy lists. But yeah, definitely packs some punch, that's for sure.
Just a table update over here. We have got a Death Army, so it's got Vordry and Neffy in there.
And Arkan, I believe.
And Arkan. And up against a Khorne army, so Mr. James Lynch. So if you haven't jumped on and seen how his Khorne looks and also his Slanesh that he's currently painting, they are just one of the most beautiful, stunning armies that I've ever seen. So they are battling it out. And Neffy did get a neg 3 off, so she must have spent some CPs and got neg Thirster, I think, did some damage and ended up taking Vordry off in one round of combat.
Yeah, that is the unfortunate thing about Vordry, is that he can absolutely blow things up, but at the same time he is somewhat fragile. So one of those things. Unless he's got Dark Mist on him, he can be a little bit vulnerable. Jumping back on the table, guys, it looks like Scarborough has made the charge into the Dark Shards. That's potentially definitely pretty scary prospect there. Jumping into the chat, Druk, hey, it's James. Hey James, how you doing? G'day guys, great stream, top content, really enjoying it, keeping it up. Thanks mate, really, thanks for jumping in, appreciate you enjoying it. What else are you up to? And James Lynch, the triple threat. Yeah, absolutely.
He is the triple threat. It's good to see you, James. Well, not see you, but see you on the stream.
Absolutely, yeah.
Thank you very much for jumping on.
Yeah, so
I can't wait to catch up.
Yeah, definitely. So shout out to the Mortally Wounded podcast, another amazing podcast that is in Australia. So jump on. Really, really good. James was also doing a narrative series on YouTube as well, which is in the works. So if you enjoy that sort of thing as well, it'll be super cool. I'm really looking forward to watching that as well. So looking at the board, Skybrand is unleashing and starting to kill some dudes. So we'll see how this works out.
No worries. So I got a bit of an update. So what Tyler has done here is he's obviously charged Skybrand into that unit, and he's done the activate. So he's activating twice. So he has done 16 mortal wounds so far, Scarbrand, into that unit. The interesting thing that I have found on the left side of the table where those Warhounds are is they didn't even try and charge.
Right.
So they have stayed there. So whether or not he's actually forgotten about that or is really confident that he's going to get that the next turn, could be a mistake there not have charged.
It's some scoring potential that he's missing out on there. But yeah, I guess we'll see how it goes. Also as well, I feel like those are potentially some dark shards on that left-hand side next to that piece of terrain. So he could have been shutting down some shooting as well. So, lots of potential.
Righto. Yeah. So sorry to interrupt, Josh. So just interesting thing there is that Scarbrand down there finished off that other unit.
Oh, jeez.
So
definitely scoring at least 3 so far this turn. So. 3, 4, at least 4 this turn so far. So.
And Dave has spent another CP to reroll 1, so he is now attacking with the the Sorceress on Black Dragon and into the Thirster up the top there. And it killed the Bloodthirster.
Yep. So I'd imagine that Tyler probably would have had to spend a CP to go again. I would imagine.
Yeah. I think that's how that works. Sorry, fellas. We're a bit slack with keeping up with our CP sometimes.
It's early, guys. It's 9 a.m. It's a Sunday. Well, it's actually more like 11 now, but that's okay.
Yeah, actually.
I know that my coffee hasn't quite kicked in at the moment, but I'm definitely struggling with life on a Sunday, as are a lot of people who obviously got into the social aspect of things last night. But yeah, it sounds like we've got another update from the table.
Yeah, so Tyler scored another 4 points there, so they are on 8 points each a piece at the moment. So we're seeing, I think he pointed to the skull, seeing whether they stay around, and then we are probably looking at going with a priority roll. So they've just tied for priority. So Dave's over there making some weird sumo wrestling dance moves.
I think Dave is channeling some sexual energy, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's pretty
doing
amazing.
Some hip thrusting, doing some sort of like stripper dance.
Oh, he's turning around
he's
even.
Twerking, so yeah, there's definitely.
Okay. I can't watch that anymore. That's getting a bit too sexy for me.
Yeah, getting a bit hot, a little bit hot under the collar here.
Yeah.
That makes sense why he's wearing a singlet. So yeah, we'll see what's going on here, guys.
So we'll have to find out whether he decides to take the turn or not.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that's Dave getting a bit of luck as well. Obviously, as we didn't mention, but as you can see on the stream, the Sorcerer is able to take off another Bloodthirster there. So yeah, it's some big decisions to make here, and he's got quite a few threats to sort of deal with at the moment. So
they are, and they are still deciding. Dave is still trying to decide whether he takes the turn. So obviously, the pressure is on if he's taking this long to decide whether he's going to take the turn. But I have got confirmation that he is taking it.
Oh, Darkling Covens.
Yep, and he's because that priest is part of the battalion. It's able to pile in and attack in the hero phase as well.
He wouldn't be a part of the battalion, but he is under the Reapers of Vengeance. So
the dragon, the sorceress, black
sorceress. Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking about Tyler. I was expecting some blood type shenanigans.
No, the sorceress on black dragon is able to do the same thing. So it's piling in and attacking in the hero phase.
My apologies. I think I just heard what I wanted to hear then and completely messed that up.
We're getting eager for Khorne to get in and get some blood, but unfortunately the dragon, the Darkling Coven dragon has managed to...
Well, it makes sense because realistically, if he's to remove that Slaughter Priest there and gets rid of that, then that frees him up to be able to move wherever he wants on the board, potentially clean up those Marauder Horsemen and potentially cap that objective, scoring Dave a further 3 points. So,
whoops. Looks like that priest is gone too.
Oh, there you go.
So, makes sense. Some more blood tides, so Tyler should be racking up some blood tide here, so it'd be interesting to see how many he's got, potentially if there's going to be some summoning happening, and what's going to happen with that blood tide, whether it's going to be used for some abilities or whether he wants to use it for something else. Jumping into chat, James is feeling a little bit funny. Look, there was a lot of
sexual dancing happening there.
Definitely not upset.
Definitely was pretty great. I may have to put a pillow over my lap, but that's okay. Definitely agree. James, a huge decision there. So, we'll definitely see how the turn sort of rolls out. As we mentioned, Dave's obviously seen that his flank is a little bit vulnerable there. So moving them away from Scarbrand and also moving them to protect his objective and potentially deal with the threat of the hounds. We'll see how things transpire. We'll see what's going on here, and I think this should be a big turn.
It is going to be a big turn. So basically, Tyler has got enough blood tithe points to be able to summon another Bloodthirster onto the table. So
no.
I'm guessing he will be doing that. So that's quite dangerous as well. Those hounds on the left-hand side, as we've just discussed with Josh, I think they're probably going to get shot at by those dark shards there.
Absolutely.
Because they are definitely threatening that objective.
Yeah.
So that, again, brings it back to last turn where he didn't charge them in.
Yeah, so potential threat that, or some potential points that he could have missed out on there as well.
Yeah,
So
yep.
whether that was intentional or not really sure. But obviously that sorceress has moved across, and it's going to deny some points for Tyler in his turn as well. So
Yeah. So if Dave can keep those 2 objectives, he will score an extra 2 points.
Yep.
So that'll be 3 for that one, 2 for the centre, and that's it actually, because he doesn't. Scarbrand took that one in the
Correct.
corner, in the right-hand corner, and Tyler still holds the one in the top
So
corner.
it'll still be a 4 points, but yeah, depending on what happens with, I believe Gotrek's still alive, I believe. So
Yep.
depending on what he does with that, yeah, we'll see how things transpire there. But yeah, chat, say hello, let us know who's in the chat, who you are, what you're doing on this Sunday. Always love to know who's hanging out with us. Always love to converse and chat with our chat also. So yeah guys, if you're comfortable, let us know who you are, where you're from, what you're doing, so we can chat with you. Looking at the table, that's Darkling Coven, the Dark Shard shooting absolutely just tore those poor hounds apart. So some more blood tide there. But yeah, we'll see how things are going here. So
Yeah, so personally, I think it probably was a little bit of a mistake not to charge those hounds in, because you got to give it a try and see if they could have made it and taken that objective just to get that extra point.
absolutely. So a massive charge.
So he needs to make an 11-inch charge, Gotrek, and Dave pulled it out of his ass and rolled a 12.
Holy crap!
So Gotrek is just his little legs. So I'm going to have to buy Gotrek now, because every single game, it doesn't matter who the player is, he is getting up some big charges, and more than once during the game. So we will have to. I'm definitely going to have to get one.
Absolutely. So we've last week at the Toowoomba Open Practice Day at our local friendly game store, Battle Station. Shout out Battle Station. There was a Gotrek playing on table 1 of the last game, and he made, I think, two or three 11-inch and 12-inch charges throughout that game. So yeah, I think he's got some power. So I don't know what's in that Dwarven Mead, but it's definitely working. Any updates for us there, gentlemen?
Yeah, so obviously that unit that was, I think it was a Marauder Horseman unit that might have been up on that top objective
It
there.
was, yes.
Just got killed by Gotrek. He come across, ran across the table, excited, big 12,
Yep.
and then I think I'm just going to picture him running, leaping in the air as he has landed, swung his axe across and just chopped all those Marauder
Oh, my
Horsemen down.
goodness.
And he has scored, I think he scored 6 points this turn. So that should put him on, actually 14 points.
14, yeah. Rightio, so yeah, that's definitely applying a bit more pressure there for the Darkling Covens. So 14-8 is definitely a good position to be in. Obviously, Tyler now has nothing on the left-hand side of the board to contest those objectives now. So those Dark Shards could potentially move over a bit more and potentially apply some pressure to Scarbrand, maybe shooting him off the board. Maybe Gotrek wants to claim another skull. We'll see what happens. So yeah.
Well, yeah, it looks like his Scarbrand's the only model left.
now.
Oh, yeah. So I'll have to get an update on that. I missed the first thing. So there was something about being able to pile in. I think Scarbrand might be able to pile in an attack when he dies. I don't know if there's a prayer that allows you to do that,
I'll have to
something.
double check. I remember. I think it might be. I'll have to double check exactly which one it is. I can't remember if it's like a Reapers of Vengeance thing or if it's. I don't think it's a Scarbrand thing, but I feel like it's a potential Reapers of Vengeance thing.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure if he does die, he's able to attack. So interesting decision there that he's gone back up to attack Gotrek.
I think it's more of just a dominance move here.
I think so. He's like, wait, can I mortal wound that little bastard to death?
I'm pretty keen just to kill your stupid Mohawk for killing half of my army. I am not interested in any way, shape or form of your existence being still on this world. So.
Yeah, so I think he's sort of, he hasn't summoned anything. So I feel like he's just literally going over there to see if he can get a moral victory of killing Gotrek himself. So
Absolutely.
let's see if Scarbrand can do it.
So it's a lot of dice being rolled by Tyler. So we'll see how things transpire. I've been saying transpire a lot. I think that's the word of the day.
Word of the day at the moment, yeah.
Transpire.
Transpire.
What's your favourite word, Chad, if it's appropriate to write down? Actually, that's probably leaving things a little bit too open there, but yeah, maybe that's a mistake. We'll find out.
So it looks like Gotrek has to make a lot of saves. Oh, he just did take something off the table there. It must have been his wound counter for Gotrek.
We'll have to find out.
So I'll have to see.
Jumping into chat, Wes's favourite word is moist.
That is a great word. My World of Warcraft guild back in the day was called Moist, so...
Okay, so there was 34 wounds that went through and Gotrek took 1. And now Scarbrain is piling in and attacking again.
Oh my goodness, so obviously spending a CP there, so we'll adjust that. Wow, that's unreal. 34 damage, took 1.
1, yeah, so there was a lot of 3-up saves there.
That is unreal.
Gotrek, MVP.
Yeah. So.
That is unreal.
Age of Sigmar Joe Debacle? I guess we'll. I'm not sure what that even means.
A definition is more than welcome there, Joe.
So I have a feeling Gotrek has only got about 2 wounds left, I think. Gotrek might only have 2 wounds left because he just took 3.
That's
so,
enough, though.
Yeah, so he's taken 2, then took another 3. Yeah, so 2 wounds left. Woo,
Wow,
woo.
that is unreal.
So but the bad thing now is Gotrek gets to swing his axe back.
Yeah, Gotrek swinging back. Definitely keen to see what happens here, so...
Can Scarbrain live through this? I don't think so.
Well, he could. You never know.
Oh, I should have faith. I do have faith.
Hey, it's Warhammer. Dave's had a lot of luck here, so like you never know. I think Scarbrain had 5 wounds from memory last time. So
yeah, so he just took 2d6 mortal wounds or something like that. So Scarbrain looks like he has gone down.
My goodness, that's terrifying.
It is terrifying.
Gotrek definitely just asserting dominance, showing Scarbrain that who is the alpha in this fight. So. Any updates from the table? Joe?
Yep, so there was 22 wounds that went through to Scarbrain and he did die, but fortunately he gets to attack back. So with this last attack, this last hurrah, can he do those 2 wounds to Gotrek and get a moral victory for himself before the game is over?
And 520 victory points, so kill points I should say.
Yeah, kill points, that'll help him out for sure.
So it looks like...
Has he been taken down?
No, I think he has one wound remaining. So
Gotrek's still alive.
I think Tyler might have just thought there was only 6 wounds on Gotrek, not 7.
Wow. Okay. Well, so that's game, guys. A handshake has been done.
Yeah.
That is the end of the game. Yeah. Wow. We'll just jump back to us, and we'll see if we can get these guys on to have a little bit of a chat. Scooch over, Gemma. Scooch over.
Yep, I'll scooch over. I'll just try and get their attention. And see if I can grab one of these guys one at a time to be able to do some interviews with you, Josh.
Yeah,
So
sounds good. No worries. So yeah, guys, absolute great game. Definitely, Gotrek proving his points yet again. I'm not sure how you deal with that, to be honest. It's definitely absolutely scary. But yeah, absolute great game. Great game. Really enjoyed it. Let us know what you think in the chat, guys. What did you guys think of that one? Definitely Dave showing that he is... There's a reason why he's the master. Pulling apart Khorne and 4 Bloodthirsters. So yeah, impressive stuff. Really great to see.
So Dave is venturing over here to do the interview with you and just run us through that exciting exciting time he had over there. Gotrek making that 12-inch charge and wiping out everything.
Absolutely. Cool.
Actually, he was walking over here. Now he's walking away from here.
That's
so
okay.
maybe not.
Dave will be here at some stage, so yeah, we'll have a bit of a chat with him soon.
We had to get his water. I feel like he might be slightly hungover.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Jumping into chat, crazy from James.
I'll move out of the way and I'll see you soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Wes saying I love you, my son. So I'll pass that on now. Mr. Dave.
What up, homie?
Thank you. Well done. Congratulations.
Just gonna sit.
Yep, that's a good place. Good place for him. Congratulations.
Thanks, man.
Well
Thanks.
Definitely.
It was a quick.
Okay. Well, actually, we've only got 10 minutes left in the round, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it took look, there's enough time, you know. So yeah, definitely a great showing.
10 minutes. I think you're lying, bro. That'd give us an hour and a half for a game.
Well, we started at 9, so yeah, I don't know. I'm just looking at it. I think there's a typo.
I think we got an hour and 10 minutes.
I think there's an error in the play.
So I'm fucking go, oh, no, I'm going to take up an hour and 10 minutes of your time.
That's completely fine. I'm okay with that. So yeah, absolutely great game. We'll have to talk into the microphone to be able to hear that. But yeah, Dave, 12-inch charge from Gotrek. Not bad.
Yeah, fuck, eh. That was just icing on the cake.
Absolutely.
Gives it like he kind of didn't need to, but I measured it out, and I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, he's like 11 and a half away, so...
Yep.
Tyler's like, yeah, man, you need a 12, and I'm like, fucking breezy.
I was saying to everyone that's watching that, Dave, you are the Mortark of rolling sixes, so that's a fair assumption there.
Yeah, I roll a lot of sixes.
This is true. We were looking at the game, and we were looking at how the table was, with the blood throne in the centre, and how there was a lot of chaff, and the bloodthirsters behind. We were sort of thinking that's potentially a bit of a mistake, sort of choking himself up between terrain and the blood throne.
It was.
And yeah, we sort of made comment that you definitely made the most of that, and sort of because they weren't in a position to really make use of the torrents of blood and Reapers of Vengeance, that was very helpful for you in that game. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, definitely. It was definitely an incorrect deployment. I get what he was trying to do with kind of blocking me out and chaffing me up.
Yep.
But yeah, like he has a 6-inch pile, and you probably saw me in the first couple of turns making sure I was away from that 6-inch.
Absolutely.
Just so you know, I get the most out of my turns and he gets the least out of his.
Yeah, absolutely. We also noticed throughout the game, as the Warhounds moved up on the flank, you did leave a potential opening with your Dark Shards. Do you feel it was maybe a mistake that he didn't charge those in to probably take that objective and score some extra points in that turn, or didn't really?
No, I did.
Because we noticed in the next turn when you won, all those Dark Shards moved over and obviously took them off. So
yeah, so those Dark Shards together in the Darkling Covens abilities
gives
them the buff, so they're all counting as 20.
Yep.
So they hit like a semi-decent elf, because elves hitting on 5s is fucking weird. But that's all changed in
City. But they need the homies there. It's game tactics.
Yeah. They're like, whoa, tag out. Tag out.
Absolutely. But
yeah, I think he potentially should have charged. So they were Warhounds, not...
Warhounds, sorry.
Yeah, they weren't Khorne dogs.
Yep.
If they were Khorne dogs, they would have fucked him.
Yep.
But being Warhounds, I don't know, they come in, they hit a unit. Darkling Covens shields, like, on Friday, rerolls 1s and 2s in combat.
Yeah,
so
awesome.
I mean, it was kind of 50-50 whether he did something, and then I attacked back. I probably get like 2 things back, but he's got a 6 up, so maybe I kill 2.
Yep.
And then the bravery like 4 or 5, those things. So I don't know. I can't really comment on whether that was
fair enough.
the right or bad move. But at the end of the day, not coming in and attacking me meant that I'm fully fine and he's dead.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. Looking at the chat, Wes is very proud of his son, proud dad moment. James from Mortally Wounded saying that's fucking nuts. Grats Dave. Mr. Butsy, what did I miss? Gotrek killing a lot of stuff, basically. So
Gotrek and Exos, man, those two are double team from hell.
Yeah, Exo is definitely proving their worth in that game. It was amazing.
And like the hero phase charges and stuff, like I get to just clear out. It's my way around the activation wars at the moment.
Yep, absolutely.
I just fight in the hero phase, so fuck your combat phase.
Yeah, well, a lot of abilities obviously trigger in the combat phase or start off your combat phase. So yeah, it's definitely some tech that gets around a lot of that stuff as well, which is great. So oh, that's fantastic.
And Gotrek is a machine.
Yeah. Favorite moment of the game? Get that 12-inch charge or taking off some bloodthirsters?
I guess the moment that I kind of puckered the most and I thought, this could turn around, was when I didn't kill Scarbrand. I left him on 3 wounds, which is essentially him at his best.
Yes.
And you saw him then just
clear off,
delete all my exos. There was like 29 exos or something, and Scarbrand's just like, nah, they're dead. And then goes up and kills 3 units on my objective, and I'm like, oh shit,
yeah,
here we go.
Big shack, a little bit of all that sort of stuff.
Boom, boom, pow!
Exactly.
And then dead. But the best moment was...
Gotrek not dying potentially after getting 2 rounds of Scarbrand out of him?
I guess that 12-inch charge was kind of like, but it didn't really matter. I don't know, man. Just probably the Exos killing pretty much 3 Bloodthirsters plus like a billion pieces of chaff.
Yeah, that's amazing. Really, really good. But anyways, Dave, thank you for coming on. Good luck with the last round of this tournament.
Repping the Covens.
Hell yeah.
If I have to play Skaven next, I can hang myself.
Yeah, that's fair. Can't really argue with that. So.
Yeah.
Awesome,
Yeah.
Dave. Well, yeah, thanks for coming on, and we'll get Tyler on. And
Thanks, bros.
have a chat with him.
You want him to
baby.
stay for a while?
Gotrek, baby. I think that might trigger Tyler, so maybe he might need to
Yeah, actually, Tile's coming on. That'll be broken.
Yeah. Awesome, Dave. Thanks, bud.
See ya, homie.
Jumping into chat while we're waiting for Tyler. All the Khorne, Joseph Bussy, all those dirty dwarves. Miss Hobby, Georgia said she liked your dancing, Dave. I'll pass it on. Can you do that in cities, Dave? I don't know. I don't think so, because I think that battalion will no longer be in effect, because all those units will be in cities and no longer Darkling Covens Allegiance. Unless you can still play it, it might still be available until the next GHB comes out. But anyways, we've got Tyler here. Come along, take a seat, Mr. Tyler.
How you going, buddy?
Good. We'll have to talk into the microphone because that one is a little bit sensitive. But,
Not a problem at all.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
That was brutal.
Dude, you got no idea. That was nasty.
Oh, man.
The worst thing is, everyone tells me, look what he's got, it's easy as
Yeah.
you'll roll through that, and
Yeah, we were talking about how good the Thrall Warhost is, just how like charging, piling in and attacking in the hero phase is huge.
He was on, it wasn't, he caught me out, and then you just got no chance to react.
Yeah,
it was
absolutely.
just, it was unbelievable. The
Yeah.
speed on those little models, and then Gotrek's like,
Yeah, just watching him getting 2 rounds of combat against Scarbrand and not dying, like how?
Yeah.
I can't think of anything else in the
no, he
game.
had 3 rounds, because I pulled in attacked once Scarbrand died.
Oh, that's right, 3 rounds.
So
sorry.
Scarbrand went 3 times for about 134 wounds,
Yep.
and he still had 1 left.
That's
like,
unreal. That
It's
is
crazy,
unreal.
man.
I don't like in my head. I just sort of think if Scarbrand can't do it, what can?
Nah, exactly.
Other than like a Hand of Dust, or like a.
But a hand of dust won't work, because if it deletes him, he takes it to 1 mortal wound.
That's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Crazy.
But anyways, what was your favourite part of the match? Like,
It'd have to be the end.
Yes.
When Dave had it. I just had to throw Scarbrand at Gotrek
Absolutely.
just to see how it goes. And
Almost got him.
It was close, man.
Yeah, we were laughing at the start how I think it was some Blood Reavers just plinked a little wound off him as
I know.
well. So.
Yeah, well, they normally don't put a wound on anything. And for them to,
I heard those Meat Ripper axes, or I can't. Meat Ripper axes. Hey, that ran one like it always has.
It does. And another wound would have been nice, just so I could have got him, but
Absolutely. Oh, that's great. Well, looking at that, I guess you could potentially be looking at either Skaven or Mixed Destruction for your final games.
Yes, that's what I was just saying. That looks pretty close too, actually. I was just having a look at that.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. So we'll see how it goes. What have you played in the tournament so far?
I started with Nighthorns,
Nighthorn, yep.
which was a bit of a blowover.
Sure.
What else did I get? I got Slanesh yesterday.
Slash, yeah.
Didn't lose a model.
Oh, jeez. Very nice.
And what was the other one I played? Honestly, can't remember.
That's okay.
No. Oh, it's been a long night. Don't worry about that.
Yeah. What? There's been some people saying that Icebreak is your trick to winning games.
Dude, how can you not love Icebreak?
I think potentially we need to organise like a sponsorship or something like that. So
I have been thinking about getting a nice shirt up, getting the Icebreak Tyler going on. Yeah. It's
that'd be great. Or even potentially buying some shares. So you're
that'd be
feeding
nice.
the addiction and then you're making your stock prices go up. So there's some thoughts there. Just jumping into chat, looking at that, just talking more about cities. Flavour, Town, Orcs, did Executioner's War scroll change to the new book? I believe it has, potentially, but that's not really relevant. We'll talk about it later. Wes saying 2 litre bottles of Icebreak always, so...
Always, definitely.
Got to get that value.
Exactly.
And buying in bulk, we know from the old days is...
Well, I rocked up here yesterday, 6 litres of Icebreak.
6 litres? How many did we get through?
Oh, yeah, all 6.
All 6?
Yeah. And I've got another 2.5 in the car today.
Excellent. So
lunch soon, so I'll go down.
We've got some fuel. Excellent. But thanks heaps very much, Tyler, for jumping on. You took it like an absolute champ.
I did.
Playing against Dave.
He's a great guy to lose to.
100%.
Which I'm sure he's used to beating people, but he is great.
Absolutely. Yeah, completely agree. But obviously, all the best with the rest of the event.
Thanks, Josh.
Good luck, man. Awesome. Rightio. So, so yeah, looking at that, we're pretty much
Looking at the rounds, I think we've definitely got a bit of a mistake potentially with our times.
I'm not sure exactly when the round finishes, but I believe we still got a bit of time.
So the time that the round finishes is actually midday, and unfortunately our laptops here have actually decided to go an hour in front, so it's actually only 10:30 here. And so,
Oh, that's right.
yeah, because daylight savings has kicked in down in all the other silly states. And we're normal,
states.
the inferior states.
That's right,
And so we've actually been getting muddled up with the time because of that when we've been talking on the street. So actually, the painting votes were done yesterday because we had a paint judge here.
Yes.
So we just swapped that around from today. So that actually gives us a little bit more time, which is good because we can extend this round a little bit further and have the same amount of time for lunch and then start the next round a little bit earlier. That way people who have travelled can actually get home a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
If they do want to watch that footy final, they can probably get home
That's
sooner
right.
to watch that.
Footy fans, final day.
I know we do have a few of those in here. So basically it's worked out better, but hopefully not too confusing for everybody, unfortunately.
Yeah, cool. Looking at the chat, Wes, they got pumped, lol, that's not human. Tyler is definitely a icebreak connoisseur, loves it the most. Beautiful man, really nicely painted Khorne as well. Definitely still has in contention if he wins his next game to potentially podium.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, he's always done really well in the last few tournaments, probably the last 6 months or so, actually, with Khorne.
Yeah, I think since the Khorne books come out and they've got like a bit of a buff, those new battalions and some other bits and pieces happening, I think, Tyler's sort of taken it in his stride and has been doing really well lately with them. So looking around the tables, just sort of having a bit of a look around. There's obviously still a lot of rounds still happening at the moment. I'm very interested to see how the Slaanesh is going. Slaanesh on Slaanesh.
See how that's transpiring and what's happening there.
Looking in front of us here, it looks like
Potentially the mixed destruction is unfortunately going down to the
Skaven time.
So a bit of a sad day for old Dino, but that's how the cookie crumbles sometimes.
I just had a quick talk to him, and they both agreed that if Dino had won the previous priority, he would have actually won the game.
Oh wow!
So that's huge for just the sneaky little mixed destruction, just mixing the tables up on the front here. But unfortunately, because he didn't win priority, he wasn't able to kill the rest of the acolytes because he did wipe out more than half of the unit.
Yes,
and they were able to shoot and do a lot of damage to him.
It's still a little bit on the board, but just probably not as much as Dino would probably like, unfortunately. Yeah,
unfortunately not. But he's done extremely well, playing on the top tables pretty much from mid yesterday to today so far, which is the mixed destruction list. So if you guys are curious with what he has in his list, jump onto Down Under Pairings and go to the Toowoomba Open event, and all the lists are live on there, so you can have a look, see what sort of magic he's running in there. So, and the funniest thing is he actually had 2 lists, and he wasn't sure which one he was going to be playing and Dave just sent one in.
I was chatting with Dino last night, and he mentioned that Dave Kerr just picked a list for him, and Dave's reasoning was, I got rid of the giants and the rubbish units out of Dino's list and just put in destruction good stuff. So
destruction good stuff, that sounds exactly how they would talk too.
Yeah, so like in chatting to Paris as well, there's a magic term where like if you pick like a colour of mana and you just run good cards in it, it's called that colour good stuff. So,
that colour good stuff.
Yeah, so like green good stuff or black good stuff, that sort of thing. So definitely destruction good stuff is the could potentially
he has got the destruction good stuff.
Absolutely.
So I would I'll have to try and see if I can get some of these fellas to do some table updates for us, because there's a couple of things I'd like to catch up on. One is I want to know whether Marathi finished off those unit of Storm Fiends.
Yeah.
2 is I want to know if Neffy is still alive over on that table where she put the neg 3 onto Vordry, but he died anyway. So I'm wondering if that Bloodthirster continued his hunger across the table.
How does that happen?
Well, I'll have to find out what Bloodthirst it is, but when he rolls 6s, he must do some mortal wounds, and he just plays basically mortal wound him off the table.
Fury or something like that potentially, or Incessant Rage. I think it's the Incessant Rage is the 2-unit one from memory. So
I get confused with all the Bloodthirsters, to be honest. There's too many of them. And Michael wants to get an 8th one. Like, I can't even keep up with the 4 different types that there is, let alone if he gets doubles.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'll try and see. I might just nick off for 2 seconds and leave Josh in control while I see if I can round up my group to try and find out some information for us, guys. So I'll be back in 2 seconds.
So we'll let Gemma have a bit of a run and check things. Leave you here, but yeah, who we got in the chat, guys? Let us know who you are, where you're from, what's going on. Definitely always very interested to know who is in our chat. Yeah, it's been a really good weekend, actually. So 47 players, I believe, have made the trek up to Toowoomba. We've got some really good players. I'm looking around. There's definitely some people who have made Masters in the past are playing here today, and I think there'll be quite a few people who will be looking at participating or qualifying for Masters this year. Not a huge amount of information at the moment in regards to Masters. I believe it's going to be held in Melbourne this year, and I'm not 100% sure who will be taking care of that one. Not sure who will be running that event, but I'm sure that there'll be some great coverage. Should be a really exciting year, actually. There's quite a bit of diversity in the scene and what armies are playing, so definitely keen, definitely interested to see what happens there. Getting towards the end of the year, the rankings, the Australian AOS rankings are sort of coming to a close, so our season finishes in November and resets there. So I'll have to have a look at the tournament calendar. If you do have a tournament, I know that if you get in touch with the Heralds of War, specifically Clint, he can put and plug your event. I know if you get in touch with Honest Wargamer, they can potentially plug your event as well. So no matter where you are, who you are, where you're from, I know that they're always happy to make sure that there's more people playing AOS, more people enjoying AOS. Definitely subscribe to and give them a like as well to the Honest Wargamer and Heralds of War as well. So,
okay, so
Gemma, what do we got?
I've set my minions out. They're going out to get some information, but I do have some little birds. They're going to collect some information for us. So basically, we have got a gentleman here playing Beasts, and his list consists of 167 wounds.
Okay.
There's a lot of wounds.
Pestilent Throng?
No, this is actually Ham Solo.
Oh, Ham, our buybuster today.
Our buybuster today, Ham Solo. So he is the gentleman that has painted our stream table. He is the gentleman painted that Skaven Tide army that was on the stream table yesterday. If you haven't checked out his stuff, get on, find Ham Solo on Facebook. I don't know whether he has got Twitter, to be honest. I think he's just on Facebook.
I think he's on Instagram and Facebook at the moment.
Yep, so jump on there. He does put some photos up. He does use like Evian Metal to put some photos up as well in some of the group pages. So he's a commissioned painter down in sort of the Brisbane area that does an excellent job. So he's actually brought a Beast army today to help us out with buy busting.
Yep.
And it has 167 wounds.
Wow.
And he is playing against the Ideneth list, so they're trying to swim through 167 wounds.
Yeah, well, that's I think that's like the interesting thing with like absolute swarm armies with tons of wounds. Like you can have absolutely amazing damage output like Morsar Guard, but you only have 5 turns. So unless you can tag and divide your attacks appropriately, like that's really difficult to try and
get through. So what else we have is Volgoroth on table. There's 2 tables in front of us. It has basically chewed through the Seraphon army itself. So it is just it has just flown through the Seraphon army and eaten so much lizardmen. It's not funny.
That's unreal. Yeah, because I do know that Keegan had 2 Bastillodons as well. So having damage, having like a good amount of damage from those Bastillodons. Obviously, they were taken care of before that happened. Once those are dead and there's no summoning, it's definitely a bit of a difficult task for Seraphon to clear off stuff. Other than Star Strike, other than like a good amount of combo pieces, it's definitely not easy for them to take off big targets like Borderoff, unfortunately. So. Any updates from your end?
So also one thing that's worth mentioning is Josh Paris that was on the stream yesterday. So before we heard that Marathi actually munched her way through a unit of Storm Fiends and killed 6.
Yes.
And And so basically what happened there was she didn't actually kill all 6 herself. So she tagged end of the unit, and Paris used a strategy where he took casualties away from the centre of the unit, and that basically battle shocked the 3 that were in combat with Marathi. So then the other 3 on the other side were out of combat and free to do whatever they wanted.
Clever. Well done.
Yeah, so someone who's only played half a dozen games has managed to watch a few things, learn from a few players, and do that, which I think I'm really impressed with.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, like definitely a great amount of hobby still happening here. Looks like we've got some Slaanesh versus some Sylvanev here. It seems like we've also got some Jaws and Jaws versus Gristlegore. We've also got some Idoneth versus the Fireslayers, Paddy's Fireslayers, who was on the stream yesterday as well.
Yeah.
Looks like Gemma has some more updates.
So basically we have a table down the back there where some knights have managed to kill a unit of 30 Graveguard
Wow.
in one round.
Wow.
Yeah. So we've got some interesting things happening here today with just combats and shooting.
Yeah, well, we had some 12-inch charges. We've had Marathi kill off, a bunch of Storm Fiends. We've had just a lot of just crazy things happening here. So, yeah, absolutely unreal.
We also have a battle down the back where an Ethereal Maw-Crusher is in combat with 6 Bulgors.
Oh, jeez.
So he's got to chew through a lot of wounds there, and those Bulgors can do some damage, but he is ethereal, so he's got a 3-up.
Yeah.
So I wonder if he can either punch him out or if he's going to succumb to that battle.
Well, if they've got the if they've got the 2-handed weapons, that's Ren 2. So definitely, probably very glad that he found his ethereal amulet there.
Definitely.
Jumping in the chat, James, any Nagashes there? No. Well, sort of. Gary did bring his army if it was required for a buy buster, because we did have a few drops sort of at that last minute there. So there is a Nagash here, but not currently playing. So in regards to death, I think we've got 3 death players that I know of. So we'll see how things are progressing there.
Yeah, it's funny how the meta changes, because it wasn't that long ago that we went to a tournament and there was just death everywhere.
Correct.
And now there is not much of it roaming around anymore.
Yeah, I think it's still viable, but it's definitely not the powerhouse that it used to be. Definitely used to have some crazy, definitely some crazy power. Like probably the Nagash 60 Reapers list was probably that sort of tier 1/S tier kind of list.
Yeah.
And yeah, definitely I've had a little bit of success with it in the past, but yeah, definitely knocked down a peg at the moment, unfortunately.
Definitely, yeah. And we did see a similar list like that at CanCon that did really well.
Second and third were both Nagash and Reaper Spam, so yeah, definitely super powerful. So it'd be really interesting to see actually this year with all of the new books, all of the super powerful armies at play. I'm really interested to see what sort of ends up in that top 10 for sure. We've got like such a huge amount of diversity and like a crazy amount of armies that are really powerful right now. I think you're going to want some powerful, some good matchups and some favourable scenarios, I think. So some more updates by the looks.
So on table 5 we have Slaanesh versus Slaanesh, and there's 2 Keeper of Secrets just trying to claw at each other with their weird crustacean claws that they've got.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you reckon they would be looking in each other's eyes and just saying, no use to come to the locust, no use to come to the locust?
It's like, no, you hang up first, no, you hang up first.
Maybe they're best friends. Who knows? Well, it's Slaanesh, so they obviously want to be as close to and as powerful as possible. So yeah, probably trying to get rid of a nemesis or a sister or a brother or whatever. But we'll see what happens. James Nagash is coming to CanCon. Oh, awesome, man! That's very exciting. For anyone who hasn't seen Duke Hadrick, if you look him up on Instagram or James Mabry on Facey, or just have a look in the Sydney Age of Sigmar Facebook page. James has a very large, very well painted Death Army. I believe that most. I don't think I'd be surprised if James hasn't got a painting nomination for every event he goes to. But yeah, definitely a really well painted army there. So shout out James as well. And it seems like Gemma has some more updates from around the table.
sort of coming through now. We've got a couple of people sort of wandering around, having a chat with people and getting some updates as to what's happening around the traps, but what do we got going on?
Alrighty, so on table 14 we have a Stormcast versus Seraphon battle going on. Unfortunately for the Seraphon player, the Stormcast looks like they've backed them into a corner of the table, so unless she can do some sort of teleporting shenanigans, I feel like she's going to be stuck there probably for the rest of the battle, unable to score any objective points, which is a bit sad.
That's not ideal.
And on table 21, we have got Neffy. So the general himself has complained about Neffy. He's running her, but in all day yesterday she died in the first turn, but this time she is surviving.
Oh, geez, very good, very good. So yeah, we've got obviously some excellent battles, some great stories, and hopefully some good bands that will come from it. At the end of this tournament.
So the Magma Blob is still running havoc down there on the table. So basically, if he wins priority, there's going to be 0 Deepkin left on the table.
Oh, wow.
So they are struggling to get through the blob of Droths. And unfortunately, it just comes down to that priority roll to see whether they're going to survive another turn.
Obviously Ironf have a ridiculous amount of damage output when played correctly, but at the same time though, as we mentioned a lot of times, unless you have that support, you can definitely leave yourself, excuse the pun, high and dry with Ironf, so you can definitely overcommit if you don't have the ability to completely kill a target, or if there's multiple threats there. It's definitely something that they can definitely struggle with a bit. Some more updates.
So we have a Mr. James and Sean playing on table 12. So James tabled Sean, but lost on objective points.
Oh wow!
by 1 point actually. So that seemed like a very close game. Unfortunately, going down by 1 point is sometimes a little bit of a heartbreaker when it's such a close game. But you also feel happy on the inside as well that you've had such a close game.
Yeah, because Crystal Gore deserve everything they get, so I'm not upset. Screw you, James.
Mr. Shaman,
the
Shaminator.
Jumping back into chat, James, thanks bro, feeling the love. Thanks guys for the shout out, heading out now, catch you guys later. Thanks for hanging out, James, much appreciated. Where's back on? Pancake Patty Cake Carter, absolutely. And we've actually called him, he inherited a nickname last night, and that's Stinky Pete from Toy Story, because he has quite a large beard, so he is now Stinky Pete, the prospector from Toy Story.
And going from the last time that we saw him at the tournaments, there might still be some vomit hanging in that beard somewhere. So
apparently it's quite a bit of a net that has been cast out and able to catch lots of interesting and wonderful things. So vomit being one of them. But we've got a bit going on. We've as we're getting sort of to that end of the round, completely forgot about daylight savings, so we've got about 15 minutes left in the round. People are starting to finish up their games. I can see a few people have their cases and their trays starting to fill them up. So we've got a bit going on. But we'll continue to get some updates. Gemma.
Alrighty, so before when I was talking about the Ethereal Maw Crusher versus 6 Bullgors, that Maw Crusher has managed to do, what are the Bullgors got, 4 wounds each?
I think about 4.
So he's managed to half the unit, so there's only 3 left at the moment. So he had a nice round of combat there. And there's also on another table we have one lonely White King trying to battle his way through 2 Carnosaurs.
Oh Jesus.
So I'm not sure whether that little White King is going to survive the 2 Carnosaurs attacking him. Absolutely. But he'll give it a red hot go.
Yeah, for sure.
So he's not scared. He doesn't care about 1. He's taking on 2.
Absolutely. Why not? Why not?
Yeah, so we'll see what happens there. And
Mama didn't raise no bitch. Absolutely. So.
No. And we got some dancing happening around on the Josh versus Nick table, so that would be the 9 Storm Fiends versus the Marathi.
Yeah, Dozer Kane versus Skaven. So
so he must have been able to pull something back there because he was doing a little happy dance.
Yeah, well, looking at the table, there is a very large amount of dead elves on the right-hand side of Nick from where we're sitting. So it looks like the Skaven's definitely done some work. 40 Plague Monks definitely have the ability to take off a lot of stuff. So definitely a scary prospect.
Definitely.
Looks like, we've also got some Skaven versus Gristlegore here. Dennis, failed charges Dennis. Own Dennis is playing some Skaven at the moment, so it'd be interesting to see how that's going as well. Looks like Zach from the Capella Bar Games Workshop has finished up his game, so he's wandering around as well at the moment. And yeah, down the back we've got Davey, beautiful man, Davey Keegan versus Toowoomba's JD as well. So
that must have been where the White King was versus the Carnosaurs, and unfortunately that White King could not handle the pressure from the two Carnosaurs. So
what a surprise.
The poor little bugger has gone off the table.
Has given in, unfortunately. But yeah, guys, 10 minutes in the rounds. There will be, from what I understand, an hour break, I believe. Just for everyone to get some lunch, potentially sober up, potentially get some electrolytes and minerals back.
Some Panadol.
The second doses of Panadol. But yeah, guys, we'll...
damn.
So it sounds like we got some more updates.
Yeah, so we do. So back when I was trying to just talk up that Ethereal Maw Crusher halving that unit of 6 Bulgors, unfortunately the 3 Bulgors that were left did enough wounds to take out that Maw Crusher. So it must have been wounded, must have had about 8 wounds left to go, and those Bulgors successfully did those 8 wounds.
Well, that's as we were saying, they're pretty scary. Imagine if he didn't have his
Ethereal.
That could have been even more damage. So
and
definitely scary.
Luckily, he killed half the unit, but it was still not quite enough.
Yeah, absolutely. Pretty much as we were saying for Toowoomba Open, 46 players. Really good event. Really big event for Toowoomba. Definitely one of the biggest ones that we've had in Toowoomba. 47 players. Great little event. It's not too hot today. Enjoying it. Everyone seems to be having a good time. And it's been a good event so far.
Yeah, no worries. So we might go and have a bit of a water break ourselves, and maybe have a bit of a snack.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
we'll chuck up the break screen for you, and we'll be back. Yeah, I think the next round starts at 12:30.
Yeah, so we've obviously considered daylight savings there, guys, so we might have a bit of a break. If you keep an eye on Failed Charge, the Toowoomba Open event, as well as my Twitter will just post up when we'll be getting ready to jump back on. But yeah, guys, be looking at about an hour break, just for everyone to get some water, have something to eat, get some lunch, and get ready for our final round. So we'll have the Battle for First potentially on the stream.
Yep.
And
I'm excited. I'm excited.
Should be good. All right, guys. Well, thanks for keeping us company.
Oh, 1 second. I'm excited. PCLC at CanCon. Oh, fuck yeah. Nice. I'm excited about that, Mr. Joe. So I'm keen.
Yeah, absolutely. I did forgot to reply back to you yesterday, Joe. I am not sure if I'm going to CanCon. If I can't get a ticket, I might see if I can just come hang out, maybe do some commentating, maybe just do whatever, float around. It is a good week. It is a good weekend. I have started a new job, so I'll see if I've got some holidays banked up, and if I can go, I'd love to go because it's a great event. Definitely one of the biggest and best in Australia, and it's just a good time.
It is a good time.
Canberra's a nice
place. It's nice. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
But anyways, guys, thanks so much for hanging out. We'll see you guys in roughly an hour. We'll probably jump on a little bit before the round starts, but come hang out, and we'll see who's going to potentially take out the Toowoomba.
I'm excited. 1 game to go. 1 game to go.
Awesome. All right, guys. We'll catch you soon, and thanks again. We'll talk to you soon.